Welcome to part 2 of the two-part series entitled The Great Sachen Kunga Nyingpo, Vegetarian, Venerated Master of the Sakya School. The great Sachen Kunga Nyingpo was a venerated Tibetan spiritual master known as the Great Sakyapa. He was the founder of the Sakya order and first of the 5 Sakya patriarchs. He was also the third Sakya Chozin, or throne holder of the Sakya monastery, and was honored as an emanation of the Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. He brought on an incredible luminous era to Tibet with his holy presence on earth, and today we continue to trace his footsteps, beginning with some of Master Sachen's teachers. The distinguished translator Mal Lozawa, who taught Sachen Kunga Nyingpo many Mahakala practices, also gave him some spiritually powerful gifts. Notable was a black flag, a holy object of Mahakala, a steel vajra with 9 prongs, and the Mahakala mask called the Seba Nobo Horshe, or the Dharma Protector. The Mahakala mask has the power to communicate with humans and fly, and is the most special of the 4 converging streams of Mahakala teachings into the Sakya tradition. This mask is an heirloom of the Kun lineage. Another prominent teacher was Lama Hungdun Chuba, who spent 8 years orally transmitting the Holy Lam Day, or the Path with the Result, teachings to him. Sachen Kunga Nyingpo studied attentively. Once the verbal teachings were completed, the teacher gave an explicit instruction that Saint Sachen could not utter a word of the teachings to anyone, nor write down a single word. These promises had to be kept for 18 years. Only then could he become the true owner of the teachings and have the choice to write and/or teach them to others. Among the loving gifts that Lama Hungdun Chubar gave to Sachen Kunga Nyingpo was a prophecy. The teacher foretold 5 things. First, if the graduating disciple focused on his own practice, he would reach the great Mahamudra, a very high spiritual level, in this lifetime. Second, if he focused on teaching the Dharma to others, countless beings would benefit. Third, he would have 3 disciples able to reach great Mahamudra without leaving their physical bodies. Fourth, 7 of his disciples would reach the stage of patience. And fifth, about 80 would attain high realization. For the next 18 years, Sachen Kunga Nyingpo kept his promise and continued to meditate intensively. During that time, Lama Hungdun Chubar continued to give him additional teachings and transmissions. When Master Sachen was in his 40s, during a retreat, he received a vision, and Varupa directly transmitted the Lam Day to him. Mahasiddha Varupa is the Lord of Yuga and respected as the source of the Lam Day system in Sakya. It is said that one special morning, after intense meditation, the great Mahasiddha Varupa appeared to him in full lotus posture and with the turning of the wheel of Dharma Mudra, surrounded by 4 other superior saintly beings, including Mahasiddha Krishnapa, Benjada Kayadara, Mahasiddha Kokalipa, and Mahasiddha Vanapa. This led to a memorable samadhi experience in which Master Sachen jotted down his respects for Varupa. This writing continues to be recited by Sakya practitioners to this day. There were a number of times when the great Varupa transmitted teachings and blessings to Master Sachen spiritually.
I am convinced that the paradigm shift will come when the Danes are informed of what industrial agriculture really means. When they realize that we cannot achieve our climate goals or restore the natural ecosystem if we do not drastically reduce our intake of animal products. Lieselvad Olsson, vegan.
Dedicated viewers, let's take a few moments to contemplate on the divine within. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to the great Sachen Kunga Nyingpo, vegetarian, venerated master of the Sakya school, part 2 of 2. Around the same period, Lama Songtep Samba Asang, a Lama from Kan, sought the teachings of the Lamde from Sachen Kunga Nyingpo. Taking this as an auspicious sign that it was the right time, he assented to teaching Lama Asang. Sachen Kunga Nyingpo also began to write down the Lamde Dunduma, or condensation of the Lamde teaching. Sachen Kunga Nyingpo's many disciples also wanted to learn the Lamde, and so he granted them their wish. The teachings were done specifically for each disciple, with around 11 commentaries, including Nyagma, or explication of the treatise for Nyag, written for Geishik Nyag. Of Master Sachen's prominent students, some attained the highest siddhis, or perfections in sadhana. Sadhana, in very simplistic terms, is a spiritual level where one is detached from worldly things. For example, at least 3 of Master Sachen's followers were siddhas, meaning their bodies disappear upon death as they are souls in their purest form. 7 attained the very high spiritual level of forbearance. 8 acquired high realizations, and so forth. His top 11 disciples continued his oral Lamde teachings, writing commentaries on his writings, or went on to become outstanding spiritual teachers. From the age of 20 to 67, the venerated Sachen Kunga Nyingpo was the head of the Sakya order. He brought the Lamde and Mahagala together into the Sakya order. He also taught his 2 sons, Sunam Tsemo and Zechun Zhaoba Gyaltsen, the teachings of the Lamde, and they became the 2nd and 3rd founders of the Sakya order, respectively. They were also considered to be the emanations of Manjushri and founding Sakya patriarchs. Master Sachen had the power to be in multiple places at one time. His disciples recollected one occasion where he was teaching Dharma, doing rituals, and receiving lessons himself simultaneously in separate locations, and in front of different groups of audiences. Master Sachen also possessed clairvoyance. Out of jealousy, it was said that 2 dark magicians sent Kamba Dorjial to obstruct and take the life of Sachen Kunga Nyingpo. On the surface, Kamba appeared to be a faithful disciple. Master Sachen knew of the plot all along, but was waiting for the right opportunity to pacify the danger in a peaceful way. One day, while Master Sachen cared for his 2 children, Kamba watched, thinking that Master Sachen was just an ordinary man. He couldn't see how and why Sachen Kunga Nyingpo could be such a highly accomplished guru. At that exact moment, his master called him over to ask if he was having any wrongful thoughts. Kamba became extremely nervous as his master explained that disrespecting and holding negative thoughts towards the holy guru in Vajrayana were very sinful. Master Sachen then stretched his legs, and a very surreal Vajrayana mandala manifested on each foot. In deep remorse and sincerity, Kamba confessed and promised to devote himself to Master Sachen. Kamba then went back to the 2 individuals who sent him, damaged their magical instruments to undermine their activities, and drove away their disciples. Sachen Kunga Nyingpo also asked Dharma protectors to send manifestations of yak, black bird, and black dog people to subdue the 2 magicians. When Kamba returned and followed the great Sachen's teachings, he later attained Buddhahood. During the latter part of Master Sachen's life, due to a poisoning incident in Guangdong, he went into a coma and experienced memory loss when he eventually woke up. Another version of the account says the memory loss was due to a relapse of an illness. He sought teachers to relearn his studies and was able to get most knowledge back, except the Lam-Day teachings. There were no written texts available either. While in retreat, he regained a part, and in a dream, it was Lama Hyungdön Chubar who transmitted the rest to him. Other accounts state it was Mahasiddha Varupa and Master Satyen's gurus who gave him the complete Lam-Day back. One way or another, he received all of his lost teachings. In 1158, Sachen Kunga Nyingpo passed on to higher spiritual realms. People who bid him farewell heard celestial music, smelled heavenly fragrances, and saw the sky filled with light and rainbows. Some also saw his body manifest into 4 distinct aspects, each departing into the corresponding realm of the Sukhavati, Potala, Odhyana, and the golden-colored realm. When his holy ashes were deposited into a lake, the mandala of Chakra Samvara, a deity in Tantric Buddhism, appeared, forming the most beautiful work of art. The venerated Sachen Kunga Nyingpo is respected as the embodiment of the compassion and wisdom of all the Buddhas and the emanation of Lord Manjushri. Unattached to material things, he had an innate ability to see and understand the essence of Dharma teachings quickly and thoroughly. Quoting the succinct words of Ranabhadra Rinpoche, the 42nd and current Satya Chazin, and Jama Lamo, all of these events were merely a display by which he, the venerated Sachen Kunga Nyingpo, inspired the faithful and set an example to be followed by practitioners of the future. Our gratitude and veneration to Sachen Kunga Nyingpo, who selflessly walked on earth to uplift and guide truth seekers on the path of enlightenment.
Vegan, cause to kill and or eat an innocent being is utterly disgusting.
Blessed viewers, thank you for joining us today.